The clean-up is getting underway after one of the most powerful storms to hit Britain in years. Storm Ciarán smashed into southern England and the Channel Islands overnight, leaving damage and real disruption in its wake. Windows were shattered, trees brought down and thousands of homes left without power after winds measuring more than 100 miles per hour. It led some places to declare a major incident with school closures and travel chaos. And as heavy rain continues to lash down tonight, flooding is expected in dozens of areas along the south coast. Well, in a moment, we will have the very latest from Jersey, which saw some of the worst weather last night. And we'll be live with Chloe Keedy in Cornwall, where landslips and floods have been reported. But first, here's Chloe's report on the storm that shook the south.
During the hours that should be spent sleeping, Storm Ciarán unleashed its wrath. First on the Channel Islands, where winds howled at more than 100 miles an hour and hailstones the size of golf balls fell from the sky. In the darkness, dozens had to evacuate their homes. This is the moment that a mum and her baby were woken just in time to escape as their bedroom window was smashed in by the storm.
The glass just all came in, it was so loud, and I just grabbed her and ran downstairs. It just felt like the whole house was going to collapse in.
This morning it was clear that Ciarán had also come for trees and cars, what's left of this one spotted floating across the channel just off the Devon coast. In Cornwall, nearly 10,000 homes woke up without any power.
We're quite lucky because we've got a fire downstairs, so we're getting some heat at least from that, but like the rest of the house is cold and no hot water.
And in Falmouth, this student somehow escaped unhurt when a tree crashed through her roof and onto her bed while she was sleeping.
I was quite terrified. I was screaming and crying a little bit. I was quite hysterical. The fire alarm was going off, so it was beeping and I was screaming, and then I woke everyone else up in the house.
The worst of the wind is officially over, although you wouldn't know it to stand here, but it has left this community completely cut off, and people here have now been told that they're facing another night without power.
This is ice cold water with ever such a lot of detergent.
And could you feel it when the storm came through this morning?
I've never heard anything like it in my life. It was sort of like a freight train coming through. And the rain was battering against all the windows and the wind was just howling around the whole house.
The storm found its way in to this shop and cafe in West Bay in Dorset.
When it first flooded at 8:30 this morning, the water was halfway up the chairs, so it's kind of flowed away, but it still left its mark on the flooring.
Those brave enough to venture out in Bournemouth overnight were also met with rising floodwater. High tides and heavy rain have been hammering the south coast all day, but it seems as though Storm Ciarán has now done its worst. Chloe Keedy, ITV News.
Well, as we saw at the start of Chloe's report, some properties were evacuated in Jersey overnight and disruption continues there, with all flights from the Channel Islands airports cancelled still today. Well, Alex Spicely is in Jersey for us now. So what's going on, Alex? What's the latest?
Well, the message for people across the Channel Islands today was please stay at home. But for some, staying at home wasn't the safest place to be. And that goes for the couple who live in the building behind me here, where you can see the wall has completely fallen and the tiles from the roof are now on the floor. In fact, the owner told me tonight that he woke up in the night to the sound of his partner screaming, "Run!" and within seconds, the windows were blown in. And despite this unprecedented damage, the pensioners I spoke to earlier today who are now homeless this evening, the hundreds of trees we've seen lining the roads, somehow there has not been any consequences in terms of people's lives. In fact, there are only 2 people in hospital at the moment, which is actually somewhat astonishing. But tonight the message continues here in Jersey, at least, for islanders to please stay at home and stay safe.
OK, Alex in Jersey, thank you. And we can get more from Chloe now in Tintagel in Cornwall. Incredible pictures, Chloe, the sheer power, amazing, isn't it, of the storm along some of England's coastline, with thousands still left without power. What is going on, and what's the latest on that?
Yeah, that's right, Mary. There are still thousands of homes across Cornwall without power tonight. Out and about on our travels today, we saw the National Grid engineers working to fix this. It was 10,000 homes this morning, and we're told tonight that there are still 5,000 homes that they are trying to reconnect to power. So I think the impact of this storm is still being felt right across this region. Hundreds of schools across the southwest either had to close or open late today. I think most of those will be hoping to open as normal again tomorrow. There is still a weather warning in place here tonight. It's a yellow warning for rain. It covers the south coast, the southwest and all of Wales, and that is in place until midnight tonight.
And France, Chloe, was even worse hit than here, wasn't it?
Yes, Mary. Wind speeds in France reached 118 miles per hour today, causing a huge amount of damage. A lorry driver was killed when a tree fell on his truck in northern France. About 15 other people have been badly injured, including several emergency workers. And more than 1 million homes in France are without power tonight. So I think while there is a sense here that things could have been worse, I think that there are people right across this region who will be feeling the impact of this storm for a very long time to come.
OK, Chloe Keedy in Tintagel in Cornwall, thank you. And Alex is here with all the latest. So give us a bit of expert view on this, because there were extraordinary wind speeds, weren't there? And record pressure as well.
Yeah, record pressure for November. So for England and Wales, they've recorded their lowest central pressure in actually over 100 years, for England in particular. And you need very deep areas of low pressure to produce those very strong winds. Now, our top gust was 104 miles per hour, and that was recorded at Maison St. Louis in Jersey. I have to point out that it isn't actually an official World Meteorological Organization site, but when you hear that Chloe was talking about wind speeds in France of 180 miles per hour, this is very believable indeed. But if we take a look at the WMO sites now, which the Met Office use, you can see that they recorded at Jersey Airport 93. So very believable that 104 speed is, or it did happen rather, and you can see across other parts of the south coast, very strong wind gusts. Let's take a look at where Ciarán is at the moment. It's making its way northward, kind of hugging that North Sea coast. So along here, it will be quite breezy as we head through the next few hours or so, but it is weakening all the while. However, we're not out of the woods just yet. There will be some respite across the south to come tomorrow. But as we just saw there, we are going to actually have some outbreaks of rain developing, and there are probably more warnings coming into place as we get towards this coming weekend.